Hello and welcome to the third tutorial on Python. So in this we'll learn this is going to be an exciting tutorial because we'll learn how to take user inputs. For example, in previous videos we only learned how to give outputs. In fact, the assignment that you might have done was regarding printing an output. But in this lecture we'll learn about how to take user inputs. Besides taking user inputs, we'll learn what are the data types, what is concatenation, what are the arithmetic operations, what are boolean operations. So these are the things that we'll cover in detail, and there's no assignment for this tutorial. There'll definitely be an assignment in the next tutorial, which is going to be even more exciting. So let's open command prompt. So the first thing that we are going to do, so few of the things I'll show you directly in the prompt, and a few things I'll show you in the script. So first thing is data types. So I'll show you this in command prompt only. Okay, so for example, let's start the Python kernel, and now Python is there. So for example, there are numbers, there are texts, and there are other things. So for example, you two is an integer, right? So 2 is an integer. Now how to note that whether this, for example, you assign it to 2a, that means a is a container which has 2 in it as a value. Now when you print a, it prints 2. Now you want to know the data type of a. So data type of a you can know by type function. Type, and within type pass the variable of which you want to know the data type. So type A will print the data type of A. A contains 2. So 2 is an integer, so it says class integer. Similarly, let's have another variable which is 2.5. 2.5 is definitely not an integer. We know that. Now let's see what it is if it's not an integer. A float. Such values are called float values, which are not integers, which are numbers. I mean, between 2, 2.5, like that. Now, besides this, I mean, you know that the concept of numbers, I mean, integers, real numbers, that we learned in mathematics. So, for example, I'll use this only. So, there are integers. Sorry, integers. Yes. So integers are 1, 2, n, etc. These are integers. Now they are real numbers. Real numbers is a superset of which integers are subset. But this is not so in, I mean, programming languages. However, from mathematics standpoint, I'm explaining this to you. So for example, 2.5 is a real number. Even 1, 2, 10, which we saw in which are integers, are also real numbers. Any number which can be expressed in p by q form, where p and q are integers and q is not equal to 0. I mean, that's the mathematical definition that we learned in school days. P and q, e sorry, q are integers and q is not equal to 0. I'll formally any number which can be expressed in p by q form, where p and q are integers and q is not equal to 0, is a real number. Now what are floats? Floats are any real number which is not an integer, is covered in float data type in Python. So for example, if I do 2.0, 2.02 is an integer, but 2.0 is covered in float actually. Let me assign them. Yeah, let's see when we print c. So you saw that when I assigned I mean 2 to A is a container which contains 2. So when I printed A, it prints 2. But when I printed C, it printed 2.0. It didn't print 2 only because I assigned 2.0 to it. So let's see what's the data type of C. It's float. So that's how you can also recognize the data type from the number. It's the way Python is storing that number. Again, A is equal to C. I mean, we are going to learn about this Boolean operation, double equal to, later in this video. This checks if A is equal to C or not. This is true because A is definitely equal to C. However, the data types are different. C is in a float type. It's related to memory allocation for a variable. So Python stores this number, this two, differently than this number. So that's why they have different data types. Now we covered integers, we covered floats. Now besides these, there's another thing that is again covered in mathematics: complex numbers. Now complex numbers are even greater supersets, we can say, which contains real numbers. So real number contains integers, complex numbers contains real numbers plus imaginary numbers. So complex numbers is any number which can be expressed in this form: a plus ib, where a b are real numbers, and I is actually square root of sqrt. I'll use it like this: square root of -1. So that's the definition of complex numbers. Now in Python, imaginary, I mean square root of -1 is not noted as I. Some of the places in mathematics you'll find it as j, and in Python j is recognized as square root of -1. So let's go ahead and check the data type. I mean, let's assign d, a variable which is complex. So 2 plus 3j. Now let's print d. It's 2 plus 3j, and then let's print the type of d, and it says complex. You can also have like e equal to 2 2 plus 0j. That means exactly 2. Then when you print e, and then when you it's 2 plus 0j, that means actually it's 2, and a should technically be equal to e. I don't know whether Python will treat them as equal or not, but let's see. And it treats them as equal. So a is equal to e. What was a was 2, and e is 2 plus 0j. So because since j is 0, I mean j means a square root of -1, so a is definitely equal to e, and Python treats them equally. However, it stores them differently. So being equal doesn't mean, I mean, in numerical terms they are equal, but how Python stores these two values are different. It stores them as different data types. The operations performed on them can differ accordingly. So in data types, we covered string. No, we didn't cover string. We covered integer, float. We also covered complex. Now let's cover string. Let's come to string. What are strings? So let's str or string one. Yeah, string one is equal to, say, anything. My name is Bhuven, so I'm storing it as my name. So string one. If I have it, so if I give it to the prompt, it will print what it contains. Now let's see the type of str1, and it says str. Str means string. So this is the string data type. Now another interesting thing about string data type is concatenation on the strings. So let's say str2 equal to my second name, which is Upadhyay, and then when I print str2, it says Adhyay, then I print the type str2, and as you expect, it is string. So what is concatenation? Concatenation is joining two strings together. So let's say str1 plus str2. So when you use plus in arithmetic operations, so it adds numbers, but when you use it on strings, it concatenates. That means it joins the two strings together. So we see that the two strings are joined together, and of course there is no space because I didn't provide any space there. Now if I want a space there, I can do so. I add a space there, and then str2. So I added three strings here. I concatenated three strings here. String 1, which contains boolean, string 2, which I mentioned without a variable, that means in double quotes, and then string 3, I mean third string, which is str2, which contains my last name. And when I do so, it adds a space there. So this is about concatenation. I explained this as well along with the strings. Now let's come to Boolean data type. So what is Boolean data type? True. This is a Boolean data type. So let's say bool1 is equal to true, and bool2 is equal to false. So true and false. So Boolean data types takes values as true and false. So here it is, bool1 and bool2. Sorry, that's not the name. Yeah, false. Now when I print the type of these variables, of course what you can expect is bool. Bool means boolean. Now again, type of that second boolean variable is again bool. Now I have covered the data types. Now before moving to arithmetic operations and boolean operations, we have covered the operation that can be performed on strings, that is concatenation. So this part is also covered. Let's see how to take user inputs. So for this I'll switch to notebook, I mean scripting. So let's add comments here which we learned our last video. So this is our third Python program. We will learn taking user inputs. Okay, so let's take user inputs. So user input, you can take user input by the function called input. Let's assign it to variable. Let's name it a, and I'll exit out of it first. Exit. Oops, sorry. Exit. I have to use parentheses, so again my mistake. So you assign your whatever input function helps you take the input, and whatever comes as an input is assigned to variable named a. Now you can then print a. In fact, you can add a string. You entered this, and it will automatically add a space that we covered in the last video, that by default the separation parameter for the print is single space, so which will be there. So let's save this on our desktop. So this is our python 3.py. Remember to save your scripts with py.py extension for it to be read as python file. And we see on our desktop we have python 3, which we saved right now. And let's move to command prompt and switch to desktop. Yeah, now we are on desktop, and now we can run our python 3.py, and it's now there's no output because it is waiting for an input, because the first thing that we mentioned in our program was input. Now it's waiting for an input, and let's say whatever you want to input, um blah blah blah, you entered blah blah blah. So this was our program, and which was expected. Now this was a little confusing. I mean, again, I'm running the program, I don't know what to do here. So you mean the user of this program, which is less likely be the case, will be confused that what do I need to enter. Do I need to enter a name? Do I need to write a song here, or do I need to write my address here, or what? So you can, within input, you can specify what to prompt to the user. So here you can specify, write your name here, and you hit save. And now when you run this program, it says write your name here. So whatever you pass here within input comes as a part of the prompt. And write your name here, so I'll write my name here, and it prints you entered Bhupendra. So that's how it works. So this is the taking input. Now after taking input, you can perform operations as well. For example, let's print the full name. So let's say, write your first name here, and let's the input, second input, write your second name here, and then your full name is A plus B. Or you can do it in another way, like assigning C A, the concatenated form of A plus B. I mean, doing A concatenating with B, and then assign it to C, and then you can print C here. So this is one way. Another way is, don't go through this route, directly do A plus B. A plus B. So A plus B is concatenating these two strings. So definitely A and B are strings, and we are concatenating them here. And you can expect the output. So let's hit save here, and we are running that program again. And it says write your first name here. I'll write Bhupendra. Write your second name here. I'll write Upadhyay. And then it says your full name is Bhupendra Upadhyay. Now again, you didn't see any separation here because I concatenated it here. The default separation which comes with uh, within the print function is not working here, of course, because it works only on the arguments, within the arguments that is passed. So within print function, you pass two arguments. First argument is this one, the second argument is this one. So this one is uh, Bhupendra Upadhyay without any space in it, and the first one is this one. So within these two, there is a space, which is the default setting. But for adding a space between these two, you must remember to have a space there. So here I have concatenated three strings, and now when I run it again, oh, this was Anthony, and then Gonzalez. Your name is Anthony Gonzalez. So, like that. So, this is about taking inputs from the users. Now we can do other operations as well. So, let's do addition here. Let's try to do an addition here. Enter first number, enter a number, enter another number. Now I'll remove this concatenation part. What do you expect here? So A takes the, you enter, I'm saying enter a number, so you'll enter a number here which will be assigned to A. Now the second prompt comes, enter another number, you'll enter another number, and which will be assigned to B. Now this output will be the sum of two numbers is A plus B. So it will output A plus B. Now I would want you to expect what's the output here. Yeah, so you can expect, let's see, I mean, yes, I have saved the program. So what do you expect here? So let's see whether the program um, stand ups to your expectation or not. So enter first number, I entered 5. Enter another number, let's enter 6. Now what output would you expect here? 5 plus 6, what is it? Is it 11 or not? So let's see. The sum of the two numbers is 56. Now what it did, you can clearly see I entered 5, I entered 6, and it concatenated it. I mean 5 and then 6. Now what is happening here is whatever I'm passing it is passing as an input is taken as a string. So earlier I was giving my name and whatever second name, and then it was concatenating first name and the second name. Now here it is concatenating again. It doesn't recognize what I'm passing as a string. I mean, enter number is just what I want it to print. It's not like it can expect that a number is going to be entered, right? Which, I mean, I'm passing this thing, but it is not, I mean, command in input, that it doesn't recognize that I'm going to enter number. Whatever it is taking as a string. So it's concatenating these two strings. Now you need to, I mean, if you want to write program, say build a calculator, I mean do whatever operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, or even calculate compound interest or monthly EMI, which we'll definitely do in our upcoming videos. We'll make a program for I mean you enter certain details and then it will print you what will be the EMI. Suppose you take a car loan, what is the down payment that you did, what amount of loan you took, and in what is the interest rate, what is the time period in which you want to pay, what is the frequency, and it will calculate the equal, I mean installments. I mean if you want to pay it monthly, it will give you the EMI. So those kinds of programs, so we do want to take input and we don't want to recognize them as numbers. So this thing comes under typecasting, so which I think we need to cover. I mean, we'll cover when let's cover it right away. Yeah. So you need to typecast. That means A is a string. You need to convert it to integer before usage. B is a string. You need to convert it into an integer before usage. I mean, if it's actually a number. So let's go ahead and learn about that thing as well, and we'll not use script here. We'll for this purpose, let's use the prompt. So suppose A is 2 and then A is 2 and then type of A is integer. Now I assign another value. So what was happening in our last video, we were assigning 5 to say a variable A, and it was taking it as a string. So let's give 5 it as a string. So A is 5, B is 6. So that's what was happening with input. Now when you were doing A plus B, it's doing 56. It's giving a string, and which is natural and can be expected. And when we see type of A, of course string, type of B, of course string, type of A plus B, of course it's string. So this is what was happening earlier. Now I want that this should be converted to integer. I mean A should be, I mean this should be converted to integer. So A has a data type of string. Now I want to convert into integer. So let's say int A, this is just a random name which I am assigning. A int is equal to int. Now this is the function which you use for typecasting anything to integer, and not really anything. I mean only certain things can be typecasted to integer. So let's see. So A is a has a data type of string and it will be typecasted to integer. Yep. Let's do b int is equal to int b. So b is a string. Now b int will be integer because we are typecasting it. We are converting the type and storing it in another variable. So when we see type of A, it's a string because integer A, it didn't convert A to string. I mean it converted A to string, but it stored it in A int variable. Uh, it didn't store it back into the that container. I hope you got what I'm saying. When you're converting A to integer, it's not converting that variable itself. It's after conversion, it is storing it in another variable. So when you check the type of a int, what do you expect here? It should be integer. Yes, it's an integer. When you see the type of b int, what do you expect? Of course integer. And when you do a int plus b int, what's the output you are expecting? If you're expecting 11, then congratulations, you were right. And if you're not, then I mean, go back and watch a few minutes and watch it again. So this is what we can do here. You can do the typecasting with floats as well. I mean, when suppose I'm 2.5, so 2.5 is a float data type. I'm typecasting it to integer. What do you expect when I hit enter? 2. 2 is an integer, right? But I also saw we also saw that if we 100 is a number, but when we are putting it in double quotes, it is a string, and when I'm converting it to integer, it's actually getting converted to integer. When I hit enter, it prints 100. If I do int 100.25, for example, now what do you expect here? So you got an error here. 100.25 is a float, so invalid literal for int. I mean, 100.25 is not an integer in a string, it's a float, so you cannot convert it to float. Now if you do another thing like integer and I pass an int, what do you expect? You expect an error and you are right. So that's how it works. But when I do, there's another function like for typecasting, it's float. When you do pass a string 100.25 in it, and then it recognizes it converts it well, because 100.25 is expected to be as a float, and actually within the float I'm passing a string, and now it's able to convert it into float data type. If I this true, what the data type of true is, it's boolean, right? But when I do type and then do double quotes, and within double quotes I write true, what do you expect here? It's string. You can convert it to boolean by doing the boolean function, so it will do true. Now I'm passing it passing a string here, and expect the output is what you expected is boolean output here. Now when I check it, you can pass function within the function like bool and then true. Now, what do you expect? I want you to expect each of the time what will be the output and see whether the output matches with your expectations or not. If it doesn't, then what are the gaps in your understanding? Just have that introspection while you're learning. That's a good practice which I follow. So, what do you expect here? Let's see. Boolean. What is happening here is uh, true. I have passed it within double quotes, so it's a string actually. When I convert passing it within the function bool, it is converting this string to boolean data type. So conversion will lead to it to have the boolean data type, that is this function will return true as a boolean. And when I check the type of that, of course that is boolean data type. So this is something on type conversion. And let's add that thing here. I didn't intended it to cover, but conversion, type conversion, or it's also called typecasting. But now given that we have covered, it's done here. So we learned the data types, we learned how to take user inputs, we learned concatenation, we learned type conversion or typecasting. Now let's move to arithmetic operations. So in the program that let's exit out of here. Now I successfully exited from the Python mode, and now it's in normal CMD mode. Let's move to our program. So what we were doing, we were taking inputs. We are taking input, enter number and assigning it to A. We are taking another input, and what program was doing, it was taking inputs as a string and it was concatenating. Let's run it for our memory refresh. Python 3.py, enter number 5, enter number second number, that is 6, and when we were adding we were getting 56 because these were taken as string. Now earlier I didn't plan to give you an assignment, now I give you an assignment here. So this is an assignment that correct this program. Which program? This program. um Pause the video, write this program, and I want you to correct this. So what I want is that when you enter two numbers, that is one number is 5, another number is 6, you should have output as 11. And I have already given you the necessary details, so let's see if you can do this or not. If not, feel free to watch this video again. I'll definitely not give you the solution over the video, because I think you should strive to come up with the solutions yourself. So we have covered that part. Now let's go to addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and within division we'll see two types. These are very basic things which will quickly check, although the list is long, but it will relatively be a very quick thing and will not move to script. We'll run it on command prompt only. Yeah, so addition, you do the addition by doing this, having this plus symbol. So 5 plus 6 is 11, 100 plus 88 is 188. So this is addition. What is subtraction? 100 minus 88, what do you expect? 12. 88 minus 100, what do you expect? Negative 12. So this is addition, subtraction, multiplication. 2 multiplied by 8, 16. So these are addition, subtraction, multiplication, then division. 2 divided by 8. Now you want to check the type of 2, 2 by 8. What should be the type? So let's see if you guessed it right or not. It's a float data type. Now another interesting thing, let's say 10 divided by 5. It is 2, right? So let's do 10 divided by 6 first. It's 1.6. Now let's check the type of 10 divided by 6. It's a float data type. Of course, 1.66 is a float data type. Now what do you expect when you do 10 divided by 5? You expect 2.0. So just be mindful, you didn't get 2, you get 2.0. So division always returns float data type. So when you do type of 10 divided by 5, you don't get an integer, you get float. This is one thing. So within division there are two types, one is classic division and another is floor division. Floor division, so I would want you to explain what is floor and what is seal. Seal means in Hindi it means chat, and floor, yeah. So what is seal and what is floor? So a number, say any number, so let's take 25.64, right? So the seal for this is number is, above 25.4 is 26 and below 25.4 is 25, and within these two lies 25.64. Seal for this number will be 26 and the floor for this number will be 25. So any number between 25 and 26, the floor for that will be 25. Even for 25.99, the floor will be 25. So let's see here. I want to do a floor division here. So what is floor division? If I do say 100 divided by 3, what do I get? 33.33. What will be the floor of this value? Let's see the function works or not. It doesn't work because I think it's in some package, but we can do the floor division like this. 100, do double division symbol. If you do this two times, then this is floor division. So you get 33, which is the output. So 100 divided by 3 is 33. And then when you do, anything like 102 divided by 3, sorry, 100 2 or 101 divided by 3, and then when you do 101 double divide by 3, so double divide means floor division, so you get 33. So that's about floor division. Yep. So we have covered classical division and floor division. Classical division is normal division. Now let's move to exponentiation and modulus operator. But before moving to modulus, let's do exponentiation first. So exponentiation means, for example, 2 to the power 6. What is 2 to the power 6? 2 to the power 6 means to multiplying 2 6 times. So if you multiply it to 6 times, what do you get? Calculate for yourself. And have you calculated it? So let's see what's the output. So if it matches with your expectation, then your maths is good. You do 3 double exponent 8. What do you expect? Let's do some calculation in your mind. Don't use calculator, and let's see if the calculation matches with your expectation or not. So this is exponentiation. You use double multiplication symbol to do exponentiation. So that's exponentiation. Now let's come to modulus operator. What is modulus operator? Modulus operator returns you the remainder. I mean, when you do 100 divided by 3, what do you get? I mean, it's actually uh, you can divide 99 by 3 completely, but when you do 100 divided by 3, you have, actually you do have it as 99 plus 1 divided by 3, right? That's basic maths. 1 divided by 3, so 99 is completely divided. However, 1 is the remainder. However, the division will give you the output. But if you want to know what's the remainder when you divide 100 by 3, so you do apply modulus operator. You can do it by applying this percent symbol. Also, adding space within operands doesn't really matter here. Just to show you here. Yeah, so 1 is the remainder. Now I would like to expect the next output. So next I'm going to do 15 divided by 6, not divided by 6, actually modulus 6. So what what will the remainder when you divide 15 by 6? Expect the output, and does the expectation matches your output as well? So if it does, then very good. So we covered with arithmetic operations as well, all the arithmetic operations. Now let's come to boolean operations, and this is very important. Since this video is already very long, I'll cover it in the next video. For so let's remove it from here. We'll cover it in our next video, but this is your assignment. You remember what's your assignment? So to recap, your assignment is you just write this program. So this program, there was an error in this program. I mean, not error, but it was not performing as we were expecting. If you enter 5 here and you enter 6 here, it is giving output as 56. I want that it should print output as 11. I mean, it should work as we are expecting it to be. So that's your assignment for this video. Thanks for watching.